Hello, Northeast Lake County, and thank you for joining us in this series of another veteran interview. The neat thing today is it's not veteran, it's veterans, and I'm honored to be here today with Felicia and Dave Rawls, veterans out of the Navy, and what an exciting story that we shared off the camera. First of all, Dave, if you will, you went in and served from when to when, please?
I went in the end of 1980 and served until September 11, 2001 when I retired.
And your rank when you got out was?
I was a Chief Petty Officer.
Okay, good. And give me just 2 or 3 places that you were stationed, which you were sharing with me before.
I did serve on the USS Nimitz for 3 years. Did a little bit of time in the island, Guam.
Okay.
A lot of time in Norfolk, Virginia on mobile teams where we went out and supported small units, which is where I got to serve with all the other branches, a little bit here and there.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, now Felicia, you were in from when to when?
I was in from 1998 to 1997. I was a second class petty officer, corpsman.
Okay.
I was not deployed. I was attached to the USHS Comfort while it was in Norfolk, but I never got the chance to go out to sea.
Well, that's okay.
I was attached to Marines while they were on land, and so I had a cross. I guess you can say cross service. Like Dave, he was with the Coast Guard.
Yeah, he was sharing that with me before we went on camera. Okay, you ranked when you got out?
HM2.
Okay.
Petty Officer second class.
There's a lot of neat information behind this couple, but one of the neatest things is you always wonder how people meet and end up getting married, and this is a really cool story. Who would like to share this story with us?
I'll start off. Dave and I have been married 28 years, but how we met was a match made by God. He was deployed, he was out at sea, and I did not know who he was, and I was stationed at Portsmouth Naval Hospital. This is a 20 millimeter depleted uranium missile that comes out of what's called a sea whiz on board a ship. Dave was on board the ship. He was shot by this, and the medics on the ship took very good care of him to get him to the Portsmouth Naval Hospital. Prior to him even coming to the Portsmouth Naval Hospital, they were alerting the medical staff about this gentleman that was coming. So I knew more about his injury than I did know about him. And then shortly after that, I saw him and I just knew he was for me. So.
You know, the amazing thing that Dave was sharing this story a little bit more about it before we went on camera, but they had just left port. They were on the way to pick up some Marines, and so this was peacetime. This was by our own boat, not enemy. So it's a unique story. But he said he gets asked, how did y'all meet, and what'd you have to do to get such a great wife? And so the story is, I got shot. It's an incredible story. What would you like to add to that? Anything else?
Not a whole lot. I was 29 years old, confirmed bachelor, U.S. Navy, deploying, having a ball, and the only way I was ever going to get married was I had to get shot. It's the only thing that would slow me down long enough to get caught.
How long after you were shot were you engaged?
I got shot in October, and I proposed at stroke of midnight that very year.
That's
and
great.
3 months later, we were married.
That's great. So shot, quick proposal after they started dating and got married. So in all these years, great story. Okay, I want to hear some of the other stories that we were talking about offline. The 2 plaque setups that are here, and the president that you met and things like that. Just the great stories that you were sharing with me where you were deployed and things like that. If you'd share some of that.
I guess the shadow box would be the easiest place to go. That's kind of my memories of my 20 years. There's some foreign money in there from all the different places I went that I kept. There's a banner from Russia. Went up to Murmansk in the Arctic Circle, northern port. There's a name tag in there calling me AGC Black Cloud by the U.S. Coast Guard. So that was my name there. There's 2 little bottles of Tabasco sauce down there. Our command was actually down in South Mississippi at the Stennis Space Center. Well, Tabasco sauce is only made in Louisiana. Well, they had these little bottles made. They're the little ones you get in the MREs that the military uses. But those have a unique label on there that says naval oceanography is hot on the back of the Tabasco bottles. So I actually grabbed those 2 out of the Admiral's desk in Mississippi when I was down there.
Great
so that's
story.
how they ended up in there.
Yeah.
So a lot of adventures, a lot of great times at sea. I think my best was in 1998 when I got to have lunch with George Bush. Not president at that time, he was out of office, but had a great time on the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Eagle. And I actually received, I don't know how well you can see this, but this is a Order of the Square Rigger, which is awarded to individuals who learn all the lines, all the commands, all the sails, how, the entire process of getting that thing underway with sail. And that was kind of neat to learn all of that and get awarded this certificate.
That's really neat. The other plaque behind it is what?
This one is Golden Dragon.
Okay.
This is for crossing. The Navy is full of traditions and events. This is for crossing the international date line on ship. You also get one for crossing the equator, which is shellback. I have that one. And for going into the Arctic Circle, you get a blue nose.
Okay.
So I have I've done all 3. And
what do we have over here, Dave?
this is Felicia's shadow box.
Oh, okay.
So,
Felicia, tell us about this.
That just basically shows some of the medals and my rank in rating.
Okay.
Like I said before, I was never deployed, so I never had the opportunity to see as many places as Dave has. But that is, remembrance of my service while I was in the military.
Well, let me ask you this. Obviously, your most memorable moment in serving was this, when the 2 of you met. You've got to say that. But give us your second most memorable. I'd like to know just what else is there that you'd like to share with us.
I would say probably the services that I did while I was in Portsmouth Naval Hospital.
Okay.
Some of the wounds that came through there. You don't have to be on the battlefield to be providing medical services. You can also be in a naval or any type of hospital setting. And I would say probably knowing that I helped those service members,
Right.
were the most memorable.
Yeah. Well, not only are you providing medical services to literally save their lives there, but before we went on camera, the other part of this shell that went through Dave's arm was that the gentleman, and who was it that was next to you, was actually killed by this. So you can actually be killed literally in the United States, just offshore. So what was the gentleman's name?
He was the.
rank?
I'll leave his name.
Rank.
He was the navigator. He was a lieutenant
okay.
commander,
Right.
navigator of the USS Iwo Jima.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of people don't know in training or in a situation like this that our servicemen and women actually lose their lives and don't have the ability to be with us and share like this. So in closing, as a group or separately, what would you like to just leave us with now as the people are watching these videos? What would you like to leave us with?
Probably one of the best things is when you recognize what Veterans Day really is about. It's not about just one day, it's about every day that we live, and not forget those that sacrificed everything for us to have the freedoms that we have.
Yeah, that's a good ending. Dave, anything to add to that?
Not really.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Well, thank y'all for coming. Again, Our Veterans Day celebration here in Northeast Lake County is November 7th at Lake Receptions. It's a breakfast where we recognize hundreds of the veterans. If you haven't purchased your ticket, go to mountdora.com. It's only $15. And thank you for joining us again in this celebration of Veterans video.